9/11 having been seen dancing, laughing and high-fiving as the towers collapsed provide yet more evidence that there was pre-knowledge of the attacks.
And at that point we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad. The fact of the matter is we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose was to document the event. Our purpose was to document the event. To document the event. The event.
The 5 Israelis were detained for 10 weeks and finally deported on immigration violations after the FBI cleared them of any involvement in 9/11.
No congressional hearings needed here. The FBI just let them go. And the 9/11 Commission made no mention of how someone could have known exactly where to point the camera for this video. Several groups of men were seen setting up cameras across the Hudson before the planes hit the towers. Witnesses reported they saw some men jumping for joy in Liberty State Park after the North Tower impact. But one camera crew were less public about it, for they seem to have found a very discreet camera position in order to document the event, with an excellent landmark to help with plane spotting. Unlike the park foreman shot, this looks like waiting for the event to happen. Without the landmark, the operator has nothing to line up on, so the camera's direction could be way off. The plane pulled out of its dive above the Statue of Liberty, and having the camera pointing over Ellis Island was the ideal place to pick it up and follow it on the last 8,000 feet of its murderous journey. Using Google Street View, I was able to identify the camera position. The wall in the foreground of the video is this wall, and the camera operator stood on this surface, a flat, sloping roof. There doesn't appear to be any easy access, only trapdoors or skylights, so it looks as though it was chosen because it was the right place to get the shot, not because it was casually convenient. And as we shall now see, a lot of other plans had been made by the United States prior to the event.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran." I said, "Is it classified?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Well, don't show it to me." And I saw him a year or so ago, and I said, "You remember that?" He said, "Sir, I didn't show you that memo. I didn't show it to you."
I'm sorry, what did you say his name was?
Good one.